right, you guys. What's going on, you guys? Town Business Sports and Entertainment. We got him back. We got Bernie the boxer, coming off a brilliant victory of Canelo Alvarez. What's going on, Bernie?
All is well, man. Just chilling, man. Just going through the same back and forth, man.
Hey, Bernie, first of all, man, congratulations, man, on a brilliant performance. Brilliant performance.
Yeah, he
I
did a
mean,
great job, man. He did his bad. That boy's a bad dude, man.
hey Bernie, you gotta take credit too, because y'all got him prepared. And Bernie, like I told you, I was worried, man, just because of the size difference. But when the bell rung, and then after the fourth round, I was confident that y'all had this in the bag. I was just worried about, Bud getting screwed, on the scorecards, which it looked like he was, looked like they was gonna try to screw him, which I don't know how you had Canelo winning no more than 3 rounds. And that's being kind of generous. I
And
didn't
that's
watch
being
the
generous. I didn't think he won no round for real.
Hey, Bernie, have you had a chance to see the fight on Netflix? Because I know you was actually there, but did you get a chance to look at the fight and like review it?
Come on, man. I done watched the fight 2 or 3 times.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I
Of
was
course I
liking
watched the fight.
yeah, I was watching the lead up to the fight. Bernie, you need to be a motivational speaker, man. We got to get you an agent, man. Because I mean, what you bring to the table is just amazing. You was worth watching. You was worth watching the behind the scenes alone. But it was a great performance by the champ. Bernie,
But
is
I'm a
this your?
boxing mind, though. Y'all gotta stop saying that. I ain't just no talker, boy. I'm a boxing mind. I come up with strategy and game plan. I got a lot of game to give and boxing. I teach them guys different things. I bring out things in them. I'm a trainer, boy. I train fighters.
Yeah.
I
So
train fighters. I'm a trainer. I train fighters.
yeah, you a student of the game too. You got a lot of knowledge of the sport. So
Yeah.
so Bernie, do y'all feel like this is y'all most important victory or most significant victory? For the champ.
Right now, yeah, you can say that. I mean, Canelo Alvarez is the biggest as it getting. We took him down. Hmm.
I mean, in front of us. I mean, so Bernie, what was the atmosphere like fighting in Las Vegas at the Raider Stadium in front of 70,000 people? Did you consider that hostile environment? But I saw a lot of celebrities there for you guys, though. I saw, I saw a lot of dudes rooting for you guys. Dave Chappelle was there. Marshawn Lynch. Shout out to Marshawn Lynch, North Oakland.
Yeah. I was right there with him. I was sitting right there with Dave Chappelle. I was by the ring, but I was sitting right there with him. They was behind me.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Marshawn Lynch, Dave Chappelle, Angel Reed, Charlie Sheen, Ray Dirt, Charlize Theron. They was all sitting right behind me.
yeah, yeah. Bernie, I was just wondering, like, when you was watching the fight go on, was there any doubt in the fight that you just thought that something possibly bad could go wrong, or you just knew after a certain amount of time you was like, yeah, we got this?
The first round.
The first round.
First round. He stepped a toe in the first round. He
Yeah,
stepped to him as soon as he came out. He went straight to him as soon as he came out the first round. Y'all don't remember seeing it? Y'all remember him stepping to him?
yeah. I mean, you can't. What I liked about the performance, Bernie, it was just like y'all was punching in between Canelo's wide shots, and I mean, Bud was like really bothering him, fighting him on the inside, and I thought, okay, well, if Bud fight him on the inside and take away those long wide shots of his, I thought that Bud had an exceptional chance. But then, like I said, Bud just started pulling away. And I don't know, Bernie, if you watched the 11th round that everybody been talking about, Canelo looked like he was about to check out. It looked like he was just like Bud hit him with that short shot. It looked like he was about to walk to his corner and just say, you know what, fuck it. And then you
Well,
can't. Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on that.
I don't know if he was gonna ready to check out. He just, there was no way he could win. He just felt like, man, damn, ain't nothing I can do to get to this guy. Everything I'm trying ain't working out. It's just not working. I don't think he wanted to give up. It's just like he was just saying, fuck, this guy got everything.
Yeah, you had a counter for everything, and then so much for people saying that Bud wasn't gonna be able to take his shot. Bud took his best shots, and I knew there was a point in the fight, Birdie, because I watch y'all all the time, and I know Bud is deceptively strong from from the deadlifting and everything. I said, what's gonna make me really secure watching this fight? There's gonna be a point in the fight where Canelo is gonna try to use brute force against Bud and try to seek any bully him. I said if Bud like turns Canelo or picks him up and pushes him back, Canelo is toast. And I can't remember what round it was, but when Bud turned Canelo around and had him against the ropes, I knew he was toast. Hey, Bernie, are y'all a little disappointed that y'all didn't get the stoppage? Are you satisfied with how the fight went? Basically a one-sided victory, and basically y'all cemented y'all name in history.
No, I think it was a masterful performance. He hurt him a couple times. He stood and fought him, and he did everything he did everything he was supposed to do. And he was instructed not to try to keep going for it, which didn't make no sense. Didn't give the guy no extra hits, and he did what he had to do. Crawford is a genius in that ring. He know what to do. He's a genius in that ring, man. He did everything he's supposed to do. I thought he won every round.
Yeah. I mean, Bernie, like I said, just watching the fight, it was just like amazing. Like, you guys drew big numbers, 41 million turned in to see the champ. And, Bernie, do you have anything to say to the people that was putting out this notion about Bud? Oh, nobody's going to watch this fight. He can't sell. And y'all, and Bernie, I didn't cover quite a few of y'all fights. I see y'all, and Bud draws people. But how do you feel about people that were putting out this notion that Bud don't have a personality? Bud can't sell. He can't do that. Because, like I said before, Bud is one of the most exciting fighters that I ever seen in my life. And I'm not saying this, Bernie, because you fuck with me and everything, but Bud, me being 50, going on 51, I done seen them all fight. And to me, I feel Bud is in that GOAT conversation. I'm talking about, with Floyd, Ali, all of them. I do feel Bud is in that conversation. I told him to his face, if he beat Canelo, he in that GOAT conversation. So how do you feel about that?
Well, people like to speak a certain narrative. I don't know why, because Bud is probably the most hated, the most feared, the most revered fighter that we've had in the last 25 years. Probably 50 years. When we talking about feared and revered, the propaganda is crazy. The haters, the PBC boys and everybody affiliated with them, everybody affiliated with that side who wanted all those guys, started those narratives that Crawford didn't sell, Crawford this, Crawford that, but he was making more money than them. He had the highest ratings when he fought on HBO and then when he fought on ESPN. He was definitely, if you keep it up with boxing, he was one of the guys that was purposely kicked out, blackballed, if you say. So, but he persevered. When God got it for you, nobody could be against you. So all those guys had the lane laid out for him. Most of them. Crawford had to craft his lane because they was trying to blackball Crawford for some odd reason. So, the fight was a mega fight because it was just Crawford. Like, it wasn't just Crawford. It wasn't just Canelo. It was Crawford too. Crawford pointed out to me, said, listen, why he didn't sell out no arena when he fought Skull? Why he didn't sell out no arena when he fought Munguia? Why he didn't sell out no more arenas when he fought, oh boy, Berlanga, And that's because, like I say, them guys didn't carry the weight that Crawford did. It was an intriguing fight. It was one day was picking Canelo because of, his but when you think about it, the biggest guy that he beat, when they talk about him beating on big guys, was just a shop Warren Kovalev. Now I ain't taking nothing away I ain't taking nothing away from Canelo because I respect him and I like his style and everything. I like a lot of things about Canelo, but when we talking about the big guys, that's all they referring to was Kovalev. That was
Yeah.
it. When you think about it, come on now, what big guys what other big guys? What big
Yes.
guys?
Yeah, Kovalov was coming off a knockout loss, and then he had already previously got stopped by Ward. So you could say it was the timing and everything. And what I find funny, Bernie, is like going into this fight. Canelo was trying to lightweight disrespect y'all, saying y'all hadn't fought anybody and all that kind of stuff. But then, if you look at Canelo's resume, it isn't too far in between. Because, like I said, you guys fought an undefeated Kavaliauskas. You fought Gamboa when he was a legitimate pound-for-pound fighter. So, I mean, at the end, and then, as you said before, because of politics, you couldn't get the Danny Garcias. You couldn't get, Spence until, a while, years later. So, I understand.
But
So,
you gotta
I'm just,
understand this. But you gotta understand this. Not only because of politics, but the fighters themselves. When you look at Crawford, like I'm saying, as a rising talent, becoming a lightweight champion, he went over to Scotland and beat Ricky Burns. Now you got to know boxing and know Ricky Burns. Now he was Ricky Burns had a pretty big following. Ricky Burns was a three-weight
Mhm.
world champ at the time. He was a two-weight world champion when he fought Bud. He got his opportunity. When you look at Canelo, who he fought for his first world title was vacant. He fought Matthew Hatton. Who the fuck was Matthew Hatton for his world championship? So Bud was fighting and Matthew Hatton is from England, and no, this kid's from Scotland. So Bud was fighting a reigning champion, a two-weight champion, and he went over to his place. Matthew Hatton came over to America for Canelo to beat him. So when we looking at it that way, and then you, like I said, they all thought Beltran beat Ricky Burns, so he gave he gave Beltran a shot after he fought. They put him in there with Gamboa, as you said, was a pound for pound talent, had been a unified champion at featherweight, but he had grown into a lightweight. He actually had an interim title at 35. He was a WBA interim champion at 35, so he was holding a trinket of some sort at 35. Okay. So he had moved to 35. He had grown into a 35 pounder. And Bud had a classic fight with him, one of the best fights that in recent years, a classic fight, if you will, and come out victorious, which, they called him an American star. That's what Larry Merchant called him. We have a new American star. He becomes an American star. So then he takes Beltran on, who's the number one contender in the lightweight division because his close decision that they robbed. I think they took the decision away from him. He didn't get the decision. Everybody thought he got robbed. So Bud gave him a rifle shot. As you know, Broner had moved up. He moved out of the way at 35. So the lightweight division was solid, but it wasn't buzzing with a lot of superstars in it. And after he did that, he moved right up, though. You know what I'm saying? Went right up, won a vacant title against Delorme, who was a puncher. They brought him down to 40, trying to get him to have an advantage over the guys because he was a puncher. And Bud stopped him in what, 4 rounds, 6 rounds, or something like that.
I think it
And then
was
he proceeded.
5. I think it was
Then he,
5, something like that.
you said what, 5 or
I
6
think it
something?
was
Anyway,
5. So
yeah.
yeah, I saw
But
it.
anyway, he then they proceeded. So then it's another thing they come on. You can't blame, like I say, his ratings was super high on HBO. This guy is, he's having exciting fights. His name is buzzing. All the people are talking about him at HBO. They're happy about him. Just like that, they moved everybody else that was considered a star at HBO. And like I say, they moved from HBO. HBO got out of boxing. They moved him to ESPN. Now, when they put him in there with Victor Posto in the boxing game was a huge name, was a big name, was a champion, and a feared champion. But they on the grounds that um there was no dates. Maybe it might not have been off of HBO, but there was no dates. This is the reason that they put the ESPN Plus and made it a pay-per-view fight, which nobody in the States really, nobody in casual boxing really knew Postal. He was 28-0, undefeated reigning champion. Bud Crawford and him fought for the Ring Magazine, WBC, and WBO. Now they put the man on a ESPN platform that never was heard of. It was hard to access the fight. It was a new thing that they were doing, so they didn't really promote the fight well. They didn't promote Postal well. You know what I mean? So okay, we might have had paltry numbers in that situation because it was hard to get. Now, had that fight been on flat HBO, the numbers would have been through the roof because they'd have had great commentating that knew how to talk the fighters up, that knew had knowledge about the fighters, and would have, made it a better situation. Still, that you have to credit Top Rank for that nonsense. It's not Bud, but when you have people that want to see you lose for whatever reason, they will find any other reason. But let me say, so we do that. Then he fights Indongo, who was a unified champion. Now, if the championship was all that big, if it was that easy, why wasn't nobody else the champion then? If the championship was that easy to get, why was nobody else the champion? And Dongo, like I say, a lot of these guys might not have long stays at the top, but at that time he was peaking. And Dongo was going across the world fighting for his titles. He had beat a guy that was 48-0. Now I'm saying 48-0. Come on now, beat a guy that's 48-0. Stopped him in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. Stopped him in the first round. Beat Ricky Burns for the WBA title. So he was a unified champion going in. Crawford destroyed him. Okay. Destroyed him, became undisputed. Before that, he beat Felix Diaz, who was a gold medalist, mind you, no less, second gold medalist, who had fought Lamont Peterson when Lamont Peterson was still Lamont Peterson, and gave him hell. Everybody thought he won. That was the sayings that Lamont Peterson got beat by this guy. Anyway, they called it he lost or something. So anyway, this guy he's still hanging in there. Shit, Crawford destroyed him. Gold medalist, title challenger, destroyed him, and got undisputed, and even called out Keith Thurman at 140. So he was looking to go to fight Keith Thurman from 140. They toyed with him about Manny Pacquiao. See, these Bud haters, they don't want to hear this stuff.
Keep that shit.
They toyed with him with Manny Pacquiao. They both with Top Rank. They didn't give him the fight with Manny Pacquiao. Why not? Nobody can say. Crawford accepted the fight. Crawford wanted the fight. But why they didn't give him the fight? You know what I'm saying? So they kept him away from that. They kept dangling that for a little bit of time. Even at 47, they kept dangling Pacquiao in front of his face. And Pacquiao didn't want that. Roach, they already knew so. That kind of held his star power back far as that. Just like Floyd. He didn't go all the way up until he fought De La Hoya, right? In the boxing world, we knew him. In the boxing game, everybody messed with him. But he wasn't a huge star like that until he fought De La Hoya. He was 30 years old. So Floyd was 30 years old by the time he got real mainstream coverage and mainstream publicity. Let that sink in for a minute. So like I say, he fought Jeff Horn. Now, whether you thought Jeff Horn won or lost, he still was giving the great Manny Pacquiao the fits to where it was a tooth and nail fight. He did some things to rough Manny Pacquiao up. And this is an unknown. This guy was supposed to be washed by Manny Pacquiao, but yet and still he was roughed up, and the fight was fought on even terms. This was his greatest win, right? Jeff Horn's greatest win. Right after that, he fights Crawford. So he's fighting an undefeated guy coming off no less of a superstar in Manny Pacquiao, who was not perceived to be as past it, So he fights Manny Pacquiao, gives him Crawford destroys him, And right after he does that, make his introduction to the welterweight division, then you had Keith Thurman saying, no, the WBA belt don't mean nothing. You had Danny Garcia saying he's not popular enough. You had Mikey Garcia saying that he's going to run.
You had Earl Spence really wasn't even in the talks like that. He wasn't even a man. Keith Thurman was the man at the time when Bud arrived at welterweight. You know, you had Sean Porter, who was not, I don't know if he hadn't been a champion yet, but like I say, if they supposed to be friends, he never said, "Let me get a shot at him." Then let me get a shot before I fight for the debut. Let me get a shot at him. Sean Porter never extended his hand until he ran out of options. You know, so, Crawford was, like I say, if you watch any of the information on this stuff, you seen him and how they got into it after the Sean Porter fight, how he quit them after the Sean Porter fight, how the guy up there from PBC, how he exposed them and everything. So, I mean, like I say, this guy been kicked around, beat down, shut out, and he still rose like still to the top like a rose in the concrete. So, he just Crawford, man. So I was just with a guy now. I was on Instagram. They showed a clip of Crawford going toe to toe with Canelo, and the guy said weak ass fight. He had his name was something Israelite. So I go to his page and he got God this and all this and everything. Man, you can't be talking about I seen fighters from Larry Holmes and talking about that was a masterful performance and it was entertaining. It was entertaining. It was a great fight. I mean, if you really watch it again, like it's a one-sided fight, you just seen the way Crawford was doing his thing. It was a masterpiece. It was almost like Diego Corrales and Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
was Diego couldn't do nothing. It was just masterful to watch Floyd take him apart. And I think the same thing with Crawford in that sense. So, I mean, you got these guys that just hate for no reason. I don't know why they hate Crawford. Only thing I can think about is, in this day and age, everybody's looking to see you fail at something. They're trying to see a crack in your shell, whether it be a scandal, affair with a woman or a street beef or corruption, steroids, anything to try to damage your image. But Crawford, for whatever reason, for all his reasons, this guy lives, like a champion should. He carries himself in and out the ring like a champion. And sometimes his lifestyle is probably holding a mirror up to these guys, and it makes them shame. So it turns to hate. Because like I said, you can't find no weakness in this guy. So that's my only observation I can think of. Then another guy say I'm not a big fan of Crawford. Well, who are you a bigger fan of? What other fighter would make you such a big fan outside of Crawford? I beg to ask that. I swear, because when you think of Inoue, you don't know him. He's Japanese. I like Usyk, but Usyk hasn't done enough. And I like his attitude. He's smart. He's witty. He got a light character, and he fights. He's a really good fighter. But Tank, he's fighting Jake Paul and doing all kind of goofy ass shit. So who else? What other American star is it? What other guy that captivates your attention outside of Crawford? I don't see any. So you had the passing of all the PBC welterweights. Nobody really made a big splash. They had a big following, they had a big push, but nobody really made it out of there. Keith Thurman lost to Pacquiao when he was supposed to win. His fight with Sean Porter was terrible. That was not a good fight. I couldn't even watch it. His fight with Danny Garcia was trash. So none of those fights were really entertaining on a high level of skill. Keith Thurman's not that pleasant to watch for real with his wide punches and wide stance. And
And,
I mean,
and
so like I say,
loads up like a motherfucker.
now, like I say, now, far as getting in there and fighting, and he's a winner. I'm not taking away from him that he's a winner, but you can't study nothing from Keith Thurman. You can't learn nothing from Sean Porter. You couldn't learn nothing from Danny Garcia. You couldn't learn nothing from them guys far as study. You couldn't learn nothing. Them guys ain't good to watch like that. But when you watch Crawford, every time you see him fight, you see how amazing that he is. You see how his IQ just shines. how he overtakes guys, how he just rises to the occasion and path and beyond. So, um, the same thing with Earl Spence. And it was the same thing before the fight. He was the eye collector. He was the body this, and he was this. He was all these different things until Crawford beat him to death. Then all the excuses came in. Before this fight with Canelo, he's gonna be he can't take the punch. How you gonna carry the weight at 68? This guy's been fighting bigger guys. Crawford never fought nobody, and this and that. And then Crawford went there and dismantled the guy, busted him up, turned him sideways in the 8th round with a body shot. Like I say, showed he was a stronger man, stood and fought with him, which Floyd never did. And I'm not trying to take a shot at Floyd. I'm just pointing it out. He only got 2 losses. So, Bivol never did. Bivol used his range and his boxing, his advantages to beat Canelo. He never stood in the trenches to fight Canelo, and neither did Mayweather. So you got Crawford going up virtually 3 weight classes and beat him on every turn. And you still got people that hate him. And you know who hate him most? It's a lot of blacks. The Mexicans, Lord bless them, and like I say, Crawford got a lot of Latino fans and Mexican fans, and I love Mexicans and Latinos too. I think they're great people overall. But it's the no good niggas that hate Crawford. The Mexicans want to make an excuse for Canelo, but the niggas want to discredit Crawford. It's the no good niggas. That's what's going on. It's the no good niggas. So, but whatever it is, the book is wrote already. He's the first male to win 3 times undisputed champion. And actually, I don't want to Shields, but I mean, she didn't do it like Crawford. They handed her those titles in one fellow swoop with no competition. This Crawford beat this guy. First he beat Earl Spence and this guy, like I say, had a big following, a big reputation, everything like that. And he had all the titles, but Crawford dismantled him, took all the titles. This guy been a 68 pounder for I don't know how long, the better part of a decade. And Crawford destroyed him, took all everything he had. And so I don't know, it's just you can't stop it now. Crawford did what he did, and like I say, the first male to do it 3 times undisputed. Man, what else can you say? Just take a round of applause. Just give him his flowers. Just actually, you don't got to give him nothing because he's gonna take it. You feel me? So he's earned everything that he's got. And shit, what else can you say about Crawford? What's not to love about Crawford?
Hey, Crawford is the man, Bernie, and I'm glad that you brought that up because I'm gonna keep it 100 and I'm gonna name names. I saw a lot of sorry ass niggas like Fanon and with his goofy ass, goofy ass manager Marty, a few other clowns. This goofy ass nigga out of Dallas, I ain't even gonna give him no juice because that's what he want me to do. Oh yeah, that bitch ass Garfield the cat looking ass nigga. So I mean it was and you're right. And that's what bothered me when Bud did the interview with Shannon Sharp. It bothers me at the end of the day, Bernie, we don't have to like each other, but I do believe we got at least to somewhat be on code. I saw Tank's bitch ass hating on y'all during the fight, talking about he'll swing on Bud, and we all know Tank ain't gonna do shit. Motherfucker won't even fight Lamont Roach again. So I mean, at the end of the day, that's what pissed me off. At the end of the day, Bernie, I'm gonna tell you what it is, Bernie, and this is just real talk. I'm gonna tell you, black man to black man, a lot of that shit about y'all not being marketable is because y'all didn't bug dance. Y'all didn't sit up there. Y'all conducted yourself like gentlemen, like grown men. See, they wanted y'all to do a lot of goofy shit. The more stupid you act, they'll love you. Now, if you was sitting up there clowning and doing what other boxers, I ain't gonna say their name, they'll love you. They'll love you. But due to the fact, Bernie, y'all got sense, they don't like it. And I'm gonna tell you something else that pissed me off too. That Max Kellerman said, talking about Bud is the bad guy. Like, how the fuck is Bud the bad guy? Why every time when a brother fights somebody that ain't black, he the bad guy? I'm sick of that. I'm sorry, Bernie. I gotta say it, man. I'm sick of this shit.
You're right. And then I had you're right.
and it was crazy because then Stephen A had to fight 5-4 after 9 rounds, man. What was Stephen
Nigga,
A watching,
please.
man?
Nigga,
What was,
please.
what was Stephen A
Nigga,
watching, man? For
nigga,
real.
stop.
Five to
Nigga,
5-4
nigga,
after
stop.
9 rounds. Like I say, and actually, I honestly, I seen a lot of guys that say they support Bud, but I didn't see him smiling after the fight. I seen him looking like, damn, he won. That's the feeling I got, and I don't want even try. I didn't see nobody with no joy when Crawford won that say they support Crawford. The guys,
I mean,
I didn't see nobody with no joy.
well, let me tell you something, Bernie. I sent you some stuff. Let me tell you something, Bernie. Y'all made an impact. Like I said, believe me, behind the scenes, people was loving. I'm talking about you got people that don't even follow boxing talking about Bud. I'm talking about Dr. Boyce Watkins, a lot of people. So let me tell you something. That Saturday night,
Yeah,
it was cracking. The town was shut. Oakland was shut down. Everybody was rooting for y'all. My
yeah,
son called me. He said right after y'all won, he said, Dad, is you gonna get Bernie the boxer back on? I said, when he available. I said, yeah, Bernie will be back. Trust
yeah,
me. Trust
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Trust me. Let me tell you something. Y'all trust me, Bernie. People appreciate what you did. Everybody was hitting me up. I'm talking about people that I didn't even know fuck with boxing was like, hey man, you gonna watch the fight tonight? I was like, man, come on, man. I'm talking about it was shut. I'm talking about it was shut down. And when Bud's hand got raised, even though I was worried. I was worried. Hey, Bernie, let me tell you something, bro. It's a difference between a regular fight and a fight. It was something in the air with that fight. I didn't cover a lot of fights and I didn't watch it, but it was something special about that night. And I'm not
yeah. It
telling
was
you this because you
Crawford.
my homeboy, but it was
It
something
was
in the air.
Crawford. It was Crawford, man. Crawford inspires that. You cannot, if you can't, I don't understand how you cannot root for Crawford. Like I'm saying, you said Boyce Watkins. After the Earl Spence fight, Farrakhan gave a speech. If you go on YouTube, if you try to, or if you go on Instagram, and when you try to add a story to add a music to your story, if you type in Bud Crawford, it's gonna be like 10 songs named after Bud Crawford. Um, like I say, nobody, no fighter in modern times has inspired so many as the way Crawford has. As many haters as he's got, there's no fighter in this type of time. Like I say, if you go to Instagram, if you just go to when you get off, go to Instagram, go to your stories and try to add music to something. You don't got to do it, but go in there and type in Bud Crawford. It's going to be like 10 songs with the name Bud Crawford on there, with Bud Crawford on it. And so you don't even, none of these guys, now boxers get mentioned as a reference in music. I'm not saying that, but we have 10 songs named after Bud Crawford, about 10 songs if you go in there. So no fighter has got no songs named after them. There's not 10 Roy Jones songs. There's not 10 Floyd Mayweather songs. There's not 10 no other fighter songs named after no other fighter. Because Crawford represents the underdog. You know what I'm saying? And I think so. A lot of people can understand that being counted out, being shut out, being disrespected, being not appreciated, for some odd reason. So, like I say, man, come on, man, Crawford, man, the best. He's just the best, man. You can't. How can you not love Crawford? Like I say, he never brag on himself. He never boast on his accomplishments. He never puts his no fighters down. He never, you know what I'm saying? How can you not root for Crawford? He stays with his hometown. He's a people he's approachable. Man, he takes the younger fighters underneath his wings and he showed them straight love. He's not around for clout or anything. He keeps them with him. He counsels them. You know what I'm saying? And every fighter that that is seen these guys, he lets them come to their training camps. His training camps, like I say, he's very approachable, and he never acts too good for nobody. And how can you not love Crawford? True story.
Nah, I'm feeling it. I mean, I didn't been around Bud because when my son was recovering from COVID, he sent a get well message to my son Coach, and shout out to Coach Red, shout out to the whole team Crawford. My son still got that message. That was like that was in Atlanta, Bernie, when we saw Shakur fight.
Yeah,
So
for
that was
Jamel,
so
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So Shakur hooked it up, and Coach Red hooked it up, and my son, he was a big Bud fan. He fuck with all y'all. He watch
Yeah.
all my he watch all my videos. He a big fan of you. Oh, and Bernie, I just want to let you know how relevant you are. And
Mm.
this is just real talk. Bernie, all you got to do is go to look on your phone and AI your name and something to come up. So don't think that you're not relevant, because I AI'd your name just for the hell of it, and it
Yeah,
came up
no.
instant.
No, I know,
Yeah.
I know, I know. I got a lot of people behind me. I got a lot of people that, like what I do and understand my genius, and what I bring to the table in boxing. Period. Like I say, I had one of my biggest fans is Jason Stratham. You know, I'm just
Oh,
keep
he
saying
was
because
at
it's
the
true.
fight. He was at the
Exactly,
fight.
exactly.
He
And he
was
came
rooting for
straight.
Bud.
And he came straight to me. And when he recognized me, I didn't recognize him, but he came straight over to me and told me how much of a fan he was of mine. And so I appreciated that. So like I say, I see this guy and I know he's a big Hollywood star, and he coming over to me telling me how much of a fan he is of mine. So I know the love that I get, in boxing and all around the world. I got people from Australia. I got people from England. I got people from everywhere around the country, all around the world, sending me messages and telling me how much they love me and how much, they like me, what I'm doing, you know what I mean? They give me all the kind of props for my knowledge and so I got a lot of love. I already know that. I got some haters too though. Motherfuckers just be hating too, but I ain't worried about that. So I don't even care about what really people think, It's just you gonna respect me. But I always been a man of substance, and you know what I mean. Whether it's the cameras there or not, I'm gonna be the same.
Hey, Bernie, is we gonna see you in the Beekeeper Part 2 or Fast and Furious? We gonna see you in the movies anytime soon?
I don't know. Like I say, I think I look good on the camera, and I've been told that 1,000 times. But you gotta get put in them situations. You know what I mean? I probably need a manager or somebody, to shop me around and try to get me in different engagements and get me in different arenas. But I know I can hold my own. I think I got a lot of charisma. I got a lot of smarts about various subjects. I definitely a guru in boxing. I know a lot of people hear me talking, but like I say, I actually work with the fighters, and I'm a big influence with the fighters. Um, and I'm just telling the truth. I'm a real trainer. I've been studying boxing. I was 9 years old. I was a fighter myself. Of some kind of prominence, and so I'm really a boxer. I'm really with this boxing shit. The motivational speaking just that only comes because I've been with Bud since he was 7, and
Damn.
I say that with pride. Like I said, if Bud if he was never a champion or never a boxer, from my first meeting, I had respect for him from the situation. So he was always going to be one that I remember for a situation. I always had respect for. And he was 7, I'm 13. So I'm 7 years older than Bud. So, um, like I say, so he was always being somebody, a younger man that I respected. For his heart, for his courage. And so no matter if he would have been a factory worker or what, I'd be like, oh, that's Bud, man. I remember, he got down with my man. He showed a lot of toughness, so he'd always been my little guy anyway, no matter what. And yeah, man. So like I say, I'm just happy for him, and I seen it at an early age, and I inspire a lot of people around the gym around since I was a young man, though. So I got a lot of people that tell me how much inspiration I am, and how much they admire me and how much they respect me. Because I carry myself well. I believe that. So my respect is earned, and the people that disrespect me or try to disrespect me or try to demean me, they just don't know. You know what I'm saying? And maybe my light holds a mirror up to them.
You know what I mean, and make them feel small. So, um, but definitely, so like I say, when I see Crawford working, you know, it just inspires me. You know, that's. But when I was fighting, I would talk to myself. You know, I didn't have nobody to talk to me or to motivate me. You know, I was self motivated. So, you know, I would tell myself things, and I still do this to this day. You know, I talk to myself and tell myself things. So, that it just comes out like that, and you know, it just I don't even know where it came from for real like that. Like it just came, and I just, you know, it just put me in a different realm. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate the love for it. But like I say, don't get it twisted about my boxing mind. You know, not just history, but I'm teaching fighters how to fight. You hear me? I'm giving them different ways to think. So they don't have me around. I'm not no hype man. I'm not a motherfucker. They just want me to come around and talk, because that very rarely happens. You understand? That's not an everyday thing. You know. So I want people to understand that that's not. I'm just not screaming and ranting and yelling, and I'm not doing that all the time. You know, that's very rare. So um, yeah, man. But we here. You know, I standing on my own too. I made my own lane. Bernie the boxer. I'm not riding nobody's wave. You know, I did my own thing. I'm doing my own thing. I always been doing my own thing. And like I say, if everybody he keep watching me, keep supporting me, you know what I mean? I'm gonna keep being me. Keep supporting Team Crawford. We got the best team in boxing. You know, Bomac is a mastermind. Saul, Red, you know what I mean? These is all my peers and my elders, and you know what I'm saying. Like I say, everybody brings a different dynamic to the group, but for one common goal. And like I say, if with us you can't lose with a group like that.
All right, Bernie, I gotta ask you one last question before you go, Bernie. So I feel you guys have wrote your own ticket. I mean, I feel like y'all can do whatever the fuck you want to do. So what's next for Team Crawford? I mean, is Bud gonna ride off into the sunset? I feel he's earned it right. I feel you guys ain't got shit to prove. I know now. I find it mighty funny, Bernie. They said Canelo didn't have to fight David Benavidez because he was too big and all this type of shit. Now all of a sudden, oh, Bud should prove himself. He needs to prove himself by fighting David Benavidez. And I'm like, okay, well, wait a minute. When Canelo was ducking him, and he was ducking him, y'all was saying he ain't done nothing. So now all of a sudden, here we go again, pushing the Bernie. They didn't push the fucking goalpost back from like outside to like inside the locker room. So I want to know, what do you guys plan on doing? Is there any more goals for you to achieve, or you just gotta, you just weighing your options? I feel you don't have shit to prove.
Well, first, I like to say I would like to see the kid retire. I don't think he has nothing else to prove. I don't think he had anything to prove out before this fight, you know. But it was something that it was something in his mind that wanted to take on the challenge. And like he said, they didn't want him to do it at first. They didn't believe he was. They thought the guy was too big for him. Thought it was too much of a leap to go up there, but it was a vision that he had, and he set a goal and he accomplished his goal. Like I say, you know, before this fight, he was still established as a Hall of Famer, as a modern great, and as you know, as a someone to study in boxing, you know, and yeah. So I don't know what he's going to do. You know, this is we just a week out. We just passed a week Saturday, you know, from the event. You know, whatever he wants to do, I'm on board with it. You know, I would personally like to see him retire and use his name and use his reputation to take him to different areas and avenues and where to be entertainment or whatever endeavor he chooses. I think he's earned the right for that. I think he's big enough for that. I think his character speaks for that. I think what he represents, you know, can carry him into bigger arenas. You know, I think he speaks well. I think he's coming out. Bendon came out of his shell. I think he has a great personality, charisma, everything that a superstar is, you know, and everything that a champion embodies. And yeah, so I would like to see him do that. But you
Mm-hmm.
know, we still working with fighters. You know, that's what we do. You know, the Bud Crawford is not the end of everything. You know, so we still got fighters on the rise. We still got guys trying to come to the team, and that's what we here for. We're boxing trainers. You know, we're a boxing team. So like I'm saying, um, you know, we're going to keep going. You know, we still got Keyshawn Davis. You know, still fighting, getting ready to fight whenever Top Rank gets their situation together and find a platform to showcase his talents. Me personally, I'm going with Shakur. I was supposed to be with Shakur Stevenson. He invited me down to work with him for the Teofimo Lopez fight. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So y'all probably catch me in his camp, doing my thing. And like I say, we just keep thriving and grinding, you know. So Team Crawford is alive and well and going strong.
All right. Hey, Bernie, I appreciate you coming on here, man. Appreciate you. You always welcome here. Oh, Bernie, I got a little bit of plug on movies and all that kind of shit. You know, I'll make some phone calls because, like I said, bro, you deserve to get your name out there, man, because you work hard and you a good brother, man. And I appreciate you coming on this platform. Bernie, you always welcome here. Hey, Bernie, real talk. I'm going to come out there, man. I'm going to do a training session with you. I'm going to fly out to Omaha, or maybe I'll fly you out to the Bay Area or whatever. And then, you know, I got a gym I go to in Oakland shit. We'll do a training session, film it, whatever case may be, you know. Of course, I'm gonna put some money in your hand and all that kind of shit. But yeah, man, let's do it, bro.
You ain't doing no training. Stop it. You ain't doing no working out, man.
What is you, Bernie? Check this out, bro. Bernie, I may not be a professional boxer, but I done laid out quite a few niggas. Trust
I ain't
me.
saying that you ain't punched no guys out, but you ain't working out. You ain't training in no gym, man. Stop playing.
I'm not, nigga. I'm not Bernie. Bro. I done gave up the crumble cookie. I didn't like, bro. I'm training. Hey, man. I got some Slim Fast. I've been really training, bro. I'm serious. Hey, Bernie. I promise you, the next time I see you at a fight, I weigh like I'm gonna lose 20 pounds, and you gonna see the difference. I promise you, my dude.
All right, Tal, man. All right, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Man. Appreciate you, man. Bet.